Hello, this is Overlord Boat, and we're back with another how-tos, and today we'll be talking about tips and tricks with the new Twilight Hunt mode coming out, or is already out right now. We'll let SAT score start us off.
Alright, so Twilight Hunt is a combination of PvP and PvE mode. Here, you're going to farm up monsters in order to increase the amount of points you earn, and those points will help you unlock future buffs to be granted in battle, which will give your ship an edge in battle. So, in the beginning, two monsters will always spawn by you, Steel Rat and Octopus. So these are your initial give me ships, and killing both of them will give you your first buff. This applies to every kind of ship that you're going to be playing. It shouldn't take too long, as each ship is easily killed within a few volleys. Depending on what kind of ship you're playing, you can receive different kind of buffs. So I can't go into too much detail about which buffs you should take. So while you're doing this, you should also be looking at your minimap and planning out your next moves. So we see here a few white circles and a red circle off in the distance. So the whites both will spawn monsters, but I believe the red circle will spawn higher difficulty monsters that yield more points. So if your ship is more spec'd towards PvP, I would recommend just taking the in general I would actually recommend taking the red circles. But if they're not anywhere close by, you can then go ahead and farm monster points off the white circle. After after your first two monsters, I would recommend you still try to farm monsters if possible to kind of increase your points. But if for some reason you happen to run into a player like this, then go ahead and kill them or run, depending on if you think you can win the fight or not. I wouldn't I wouldn't focus too much in the early game unless you have a player like doing something like that. And this is because players tend to be a bit smarter about if they want to die or not. So if they run away, that's 0 points taken. Whereas a monster is very consistent, and you can always kill them or try to steal them from other players. When fighting other players, ship matchup is actually pretty important. Like, for example, my Lobster Eye has a lot of HP, and it generally fares pretty well against other players. They may try to join, sometimes they'll try to send you div invites, but I wouldn't recommend this early in the game. How divs work is that any kills achieved by any players in the division will be split equally. So, for example, an octopus here will give me 150 points. If I kill that and I'm in a division, then both players will get 75 points instead. And this may gimp your income, as you cannot get buffs as quickly. So you may be overwhelmed by other players who may simply have more buffs that can quickly kill you, or just run away from you. Bo, do you have any other tips to add in for the early to mid game?
So usually, early to mid game, if you're trying to get into div groups, you definitely want to do that later in the game when you have to deal with Rasputin. So right now, this Twilight Hunt has two game modes. It has a normal and a hard mode. On the normal mode, you have two chances to leave. One before Rasputin appears, and one after Rasputin appears. I would usually recommend if you're just trying to get points and leave, because these points you gain are able to be used to buy things which they haven't disclosed yet. And they probably already shown by now by the time this video goes out. But the rewards are always really nice. So, and if you do survive the battle and get out, you get double the points. So say you got yourself 2,000 points and you leave. That means you get 4,000. So it's definitely worth trying to survive and getting as many points as possible instead of just trying to be greedy and staying in. So it's definitely a good tip there. But the thing is, on the hard mode, you only get one chance to leave, and that's after Rasputin leaves. And the thing is, in that hard mode, I haven't even gotten close to killing Rasputin yet. You have to have a full division, I think, of 6 to be able to kill him. Because in normal mode, you can have up to 3, but in the hard mode, you have to have, you can have 6. So it kind of shows how hard, like, trying to kill Rasputin is for points in that hard mode.
Mhm. If you don't feel confident in taking on Rasputin, then it's fine to leave. Just leave with what you have and go through the portal. It's better than not killing Rasputin and dying anyways. If you do want to leave early, I don't recommend staying around the portal until it is unlocked. And that is because a lot of players were camping it in the last Twilight Hunt, and I expect players to do the same on this Twilight Hunt. So if you were to, so instead of going to the portal directly, I'd recommend waiting a little bit, keep farming up the monsters, and make sure you keep your HP high. That way you can make the mad dash to the portal in case any division is trying to camp it for free points.
Yep, because usually a lot of the PvPers will find each other early on and start killing each other off. So if you're able to kind of stay back, kind of farm the monsters away from the key area, and also in this Twilight Hunt, you don't have to get keys to leave. So pretty much as soon as the portal opens, you're able to leave immediately. You don't have to wait for it once it opens. But there is a limited amount of time for it's open. So once it's open, you have to get a mad dash to get in to be able to escape before it closes.
So, to know where the portal is, the portal you can escape from, there are icons on the map and on your mini map that will indicate. So you see that arrow that's pointing up to the top right corner? That is the escape portal, and it's shown on the mini map and in the game right now. If you want to kill Rasputin, then go towards the crown icon that in this replay it's on the bottom side. South side. Although it doesn't show in here, it will give you a timer as to how long it takes until the portal will spawn. Same thing for Rasputin. There'll be a time indicator counting down to when Rasputin spawns. So you can use that time, plan ahead to when you want to take on Rasputin. And you want to time it as close as possible. Rasputin is very powerful, and he also spawns a whole bunch of monster Kabaros, which will harass you until he's defeated. And they'll actually still harass you.
They also spawn on you. Like, as long as he's in the match and you're nearby him at all, they will spawn on you. And then they'll chase you down and kill you.
And they don't even offer many points. They only offer 30 compared to most other ships 80 or 150. So you generally just don't want to deal with them.
Yep, exactly. It's not even really worth it usually.
So right now I'm just kind of waiting here at the portal, waiting for someone to come by, so hopefully I can kill them. But there isn't that many people left in the game. There was just me, Bo, and Toxic, and we were planning on taking on the Rasputin, so that really leaves 2 other people. On the top right corner, it'll show you how many players are left in the game. So if there isn't many, chances are they're either heading for the portal or they might be camping out for Rasputin.
But yeah, if you are curious why the countdown number looks so large, it's due to a glitch. In replays, the countdown timer is usually bugged. So definitely don't think that's how the numbers will be. It'll actually show an actual number of a countdown for the portal closing and opening, and then when Rasputin will survive, and will pop up and all that. It'll show the actual numbers, not some weird random phone number kind of thing.
So yeah, keep in mind that Rasputin is a completely optional boss. If you don't think your ship is suited to take on Rasputin, you can leave through the portal at any time and just collect your winnings. I'd only recommend certain ships that are capable of dealing large amounts of damage to the boss if you want to kill Rasputin. In in my case, I've taken a lobster eye. There's a special technique that will show in a few minutes. Can kill Rasputin very, very quickly. Many other ships will lack the survivability and or the ability to kill Rasputin very quickly. Remember, Rasputin will spawn along with, I think, at least 4 or 5 mutant Kabaros, and they will deal a lot of damage to your ship in short order. So you need something that can get in there, insta-kill Rasputin, and get out quickly, because it's not a pretty sight when it goes in.
Yep, I know that the Avenger also is able to do it. And there's one in the Valkyrie, since they have the invincibility consumable as well. So those technically can if you have those equipped. Like any ship that has the invincibility consumable technically can.
As you can, so we've joined forces, and now we're formally in a div. You don't actually have to do this until late game. In fact, you technically never have to do this at all. But it's nice to be in a div just in case there's friendly fire that goes on. So the middle to late game is when you really want to start with divs, because then you don't need as many buffs as you needed before, and you avoid the friendly fire incidents that not being a div may give you. So before taking on Rasputin, always make sure you have your consumables ready to go and heal up as much HP as possible. So my plan here is to try and is for us to rush the Rasputin and then ram him. So I have my heal buff since we have our Hector going in first. Ramming the Rasputin is very risky, but it is also generally the fastest way of killing Rasputin, with no luck involved. You just need to ram your ship into it and have invincibility active at the right time. Unfortunately for our Hector, even with all of the buffs enabled, he still takes massive amounts of damage, and yeah, the mutant boss, as I said, are very deadly.
Yeah, Rasputin also has an invincibility period where he takes less damage.
Yeah, upon killing Rasputin, everyone instantly gains 5,000 points. So you will unlock all your buffs at the same time.
Well, that's if there's... Well, since you're in a 3 in a div, you do get the 5,000 each. But on the hard... since you can have up to 6 in a division, you still get the 5,000 from Rasputin. Since it goes up to 30,000, I believe. Yeah, that's way more than 5 mutant combos, by the way.
I only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I see about 7 or 8.
Oh. Eh, it's just slightly worse then. So, with all of the buffs, you can, and the amount of health regeneration I'm getting from my lobster eye, I'm actually able to make it out surprisingly.
Like, on hard mode, though, that wouldn't have worked at all. On hard, it's way more difficult for sure.
If you want to consistently walk out with good earnings, I'd recommend just avoiding Rasputin and just exiting the portal as soon as it's up. If you want a challenge, or bragging rights, then yeah, go ahead and challenge Rasputin. Before I exit through the portal, do you have any more tips, Bo?
I think we covered it pretty well. We do have a video that showcases the ships and which ones we recommend. This was more of just a tips and tricks for the mode. And I think we did a pretty good job showcasing and talking about what you should do. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else we should be talking about. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope. I guess importantly, just have fun with the mode. It's not meant to be taken seriously. So even if you die in the first few minutes, just jump into a new ship and go.
Alright, well, thank y'all for watching the video. If you guys have any questions, concerns, definitely leave them down in the comments down below. And this is Overlord Boat, and I'll talk to y'all later.